Okay, I have caught so many politicians breaking the law, and they've been officially sanctioned by the Public Disclosure Commission, and I just need to tell you what's happened over the last couple weeks. So now, I've been exposing so many politicians, PACs, and candidates that break the law, and it's really hard to keep up. So in this video segment today, I'm going to cover the most recent Lucky 13, who just in the past few weeks have been forced to forfeit illegal funds, over-limit funds that they acquired for their campaigns, or who have been formally sanctioned by Washington State's Public Disclosure Commission. Now, I'm reporting on these politicians and PACs because I'm the one who actually filed the original complaints, and these are what has initiated the investigations, and the state of Washington has officially and formally ruled that these guys broke the law, and they've imposed sanctions of some kind. So let's just get right into it. Now, first, we're going to start in the city of Vancouver, where I caught two different incumbent Democrat-endorsed city council members who both took illegal over-limit contributions and attempted to kind of bluff their way past the voters and then keep the cash. Well, we caught them and filed complaints against both these guys, Ty Stober and Bart Hansen, pictured here. They were actually both forced to forfeit $1,000 each out of their campaign cash stash, and they have formally been sanctioned by the Public Disclosure Commission just last week.
Busted.
Now, moving across to the state of Washington to the city of Spokane Valley, a similar situation with a perennial failed Democrat candidate for office who also took illegal over-limit campaign contributions, and he was forced to forfeit $500 from his personal bank account for his lawbreaking. His name is James J.J. Johnson, and he wrote a pretty angry letter in response to my complaint, which I find is not unusual. These guys always hate it when they get caught, and the PDC sanctioned him as well.
Busted.
Now, down in the middle of the state is actually a hard leftist group that euphemistically is called Rural Americans United PAC. Although most of their endorsed candidates forced on basically their kind of focus on dividing the people and attacking rural residents, but they also attempted to take illegal over-limit anonymous contributions. Now, they were forced to forfeit a very small amount of illegal over-limit contributions to the state, which then promptly just gets wasted in the general fund with the rest of our tax dollars. I actually made a mistake when I originally filed this complaint, as the limits on allowable anonymous contributions had actually changed on April Fool's Day earlier this year, and my initial complaint didn't reflect these new amounts, but they still broke the law and they had to forfeit these illegal funds, just a much smaller amount, and they were also formally sanctioned by the PDC.
Busted.
Now, out in Mason County, which is further out west, I caught a former failed serial Democrat politician named Irene Bowling, who lost a series of campaigns for the state legislature and the Senate in the 35th Legislative District, which kind of mainly covers Mason County and parts of Thurston County where I live as well. In this case, my complaint exposed a fiasco of failures, basically maintaining any records, disclosing legally required information to the public, and many other problems with her massively well-funded campaigns. But really, she was only sanctioned with a wrist slap by the PDC.
Busted.
Now moving to the city of Burien, Sydney Moore, who's a current city council candidate there, also attempted to conceal quite a bit of information from the public and was forced to properly expose her donors, expenditures, etc. I mean, she was just sanctioned by the PDC for this repeat failure to follow the law. Now, I've caught her many times in the past, but it looks like I've caught her breaking other laws, so I think that this most recent sanction from the PDC is unlikely to be her last.
Busted.
Now, moving a little bit further down south, in the North Thurston School District, there's a PAC called the Thurston Citizens for Schools PAC. And I expose a complete rat's nest of attempts to kind of conceal the true source of just really thousands of dollars of in-kind contributions, false reporting, excessively late reporting, and just large amount of cash and political activity that really seemed to be concealed from the public. The treasurer complained that it was just a lot of work to actually follow the law, and their computers crashed many times. Now, regardless, these responses have exposed additional violations that will indicate that the recent sanction that this well-funded PAC received is probably not the end of this story either.
Busted.
Now, moving a little bit further to the north in the city of Puyallup in Pierce County, I caught city council candidate Shelley Willis breaking the law with her campaign, for which she has also been sanctioned by the PDC.
Busted.
Now, further north in the city of Redmond, I also caught failed Redmond City Council candidate Tara Van Nieman, who also violated the law with her campaign finance reports, for which she has also been officially sanctioned by the Public Disclosure Commission.
Busted.
Not far away from there, in the city of Tukwila, I also caught current political candidate for Tukwila City Council, Melissa McMahon Doe, who was basically not reporting the truth on her campaign reports and attempting to conceal information from the local voters. She was irate that she got caught, and she called it harassment that somebody dared to expose her violations. She was also just sanctioned by the PDC.
Busted.
Now, in that same area, the secretive and weird PAC that was called Vote Yes on Prop 1, sponsored by the Kent Firefighters IAFF Local 1747 PAC, and yes, that is a mouthful, I had caught them earlier this year attempting to conceal almost everything from the public about who was funding this PAC and where the cash dash came from. They only received a warning letter from the PDC, although it should have been more.
Busted.
Now back to my neighborhood in Thurston County. I caught County Commissioner candidate Wayne Fournier basically attempting to hide personal financial affairs information from the public and then keep this information off of his legally required financial affairs form. And that did result in an official warning letter from the PDC just recently as well.
Busted.
And finally, all the way back across the state again to the city of Spokane with repeat violations of Washington State's campaign finance laws, and the always illegal and always super shady Lisa Brown was caught once again breaking the law, which is something that she seems to do on a regular basis. Now, she was caught with a recently currently corrupted campaign for mayor of Spokane, and she was sanctioned for really a wide variety of violations that I exposed in just a series of campaign finance complaints that I'd filed against her. And as the former state senator from that area and Jay Inslee's right-hand person, the former Department of Commerce director, nobody's really surprised that she breaks the law. But the formal sanction from the Public Disclosure Commission at least kind of puts it in black and white, with more violations to be exposed almost certainly on the way.
Busted.
Now, obviously, this is just skimming the surface of the people that I've caught recently. And these are just the most recent of the 240 politicians, judges, and PACs that I've exposed. Now, sure, I know. People, you want them to go to jail or receive even worse penalties. But I can only report what I've exposed and the actual penalties and sanctions that they have received so far for their lawbreaking. As always, it just starts with exposing the truth. And there are another 60 or so cases still pending, and I have many more to file still. These guys just can't help themselves, and breaking the law is just what they do. However, if they don't file a complaint, if I don't file this complaint, nobody will ever actually know, because it isn't like anyone in government wants to catch the political insiders doing these things. And I think that they would rather look the other way and just pretend that it isn't happening. Now, listen, this isn't the type of thing that changes the world, and I know that. It is a small thing that I do to expose the truth. It always helps, though, to enjoy the little things along the way to addressing the bigger things, and I never did mind about the little things. There's actually a movie reference there somewhere if you happen to get it. Now, holding these people accountable, even in some small way like this, helps shine the light on dark corners of our political world that the insiders would rather just stay in darkness. And somebody has to do it, and well, the state-approved media will remain silent and probably look the other way. If you're watching this video, now you know what they won't report. If you want to see the complete list of the 240 politicos, insiders, judges, and PACs that I've exposed and caught in recent years, you can actually find the direct link down below. There are hundreds of source documents if you're interested. They're linked and they're hosted on my website for those who really want to research, or if you doubt anything that I'm saying. Like everything else, if you want to make an impact, expose the truth, even in small ways like this, you have to show up. I always recommend that you find some way that you can show up in your community, where you live. Maybe it's with the school board, city council, county commission, or other government group, and really start to pay attention to what they are really doing. Nothing good happens if you don't show up. And sometimes you actually can make a real difference. Because remember, the future is only going to belong to those who show up.